vanished. Everything just went away. So she wants to continue now. Otherwise, when she started, she was like, I'll take for 2 months and then I'll stop. I don't want to be on any medication or any therapy or whatever. I said, okay, try. But she continued. Then I got, yesterday only I got one new case. So I'm
Oh,
doing that. But I'm horrible, like one case in 6 months because I'm not getting time. If people are calling, I don't have time only to give. So then I've decided from May I'll do it properly.
awesome.
Every May I decide that though, but
I think it's very important
okay.
that you don't take in everyone who comes to you, but you make a
Yeah,
difference to whoever that you decide to take it. And I
yeah.
think you're doing beautifully. So lovely, awesome. What
Yeah, I
else?
would also like to share one thing. After this level 3, I got one case and I was totally a different person while just listening to the story, and like the kind of physics boundaries I was not able to like make. I was so mature. I felt so good. उनको तो पता नहीं कैसा लगा होगा, but I felt very good.
How lovely.
I
How
was very managed in my own self.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Akshika, because I have always told people that personally, for me, in my journey, level 3 was a game changer. And I still use that word. It was a game changer. It changed me overnight from being someone who's very passionate about batch, wants to do everything batch, wants to give people the remedies, wants to take the remedies. I was transformed overnight to becoming a practitioner.
Yeah.
So it's a
And that too in a very subtle way, how it like it came in, मुझे भी पता नहीं चला actually.
how nice, and I'm so happy
Yeah.
about it.
That
I'm
I'm
so
really
happy
grateful.
that you made that choice to come for level 3. I know till the last minute it was a little bit of karu nahi karu. But I'm glad that you made
Yeah,
that.
I'm also very glad. Yeah.
Lovely. That's so nice. Okay, I'm just gonna take a look at everyone else who's come in. Okay, so if I've not said a hi to you, hello Dheeraj, hi Neeta, hi Pravita, hi Renuka, Radhika, we have gone off this,
I
and we have Radhika G on there. Hi. We had a similar experience with two Radhikas in Delhi. There was a Radhika G and a Radhika J. Nice to see you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly share how our year was. Is anybody else coming in? Okay, Neha, if someone comes in, you can take them in, right? Because I'm still trying to figure my new fellow out.
She's pro at it.
Yeah, she's pro at it, but I'm handling a new gadget. And it's
thanks to me only.
yeah, thanks to Neha only. But I'm still trying to get my head around it. So I don't know what I've done, and I've changed the look of my screen. Okay, I'm back. All right. So lots of excitement with which 2023 ended. So for us, apart from the small and big accidents that Neha keeps entering into, she ended 2023 with a bang. But before she could end with a bang, and I'm sure everybody in Delhi and Bombay, BFTP know about it now. But before that, we had a book launch. So I was finally very, very happy. Uh, Something new came out of my sickness when I was sick. I wrote a book. That book got published. It was out. It was liked by students. So that was one of the highlights of 2023 for us. 2023, we did a lot of level threes around. I think it's the first time we went to Delhi for a training, and it was a phenomenal experience. So we did our level 3 in Delhi. We did a few in Bombay, and we had people who came from all over. So Akshika was one of them who came to Bombay. Um, Richa was somebody who came to Bombay. I think Richa is not around today. But yeah, those are our level 2 and level 3 students. Oh, nice to see them. Yeah, a lot of people from out of Bombay who came in, so which was really exciting. That was our Delhi group, and we had our level 3 in Delhi. Oh, Radhika, I see you as well. Oh, when I see these pictures, I realize how people have come from different cities. Oh, and that's so much for my book. So that's that's the book as well. Okay, Neha, someone's coming in. Sorry. Okay. And our very own Neha completed her NLP training this year. So she was in an extensive training becoming an NLP coach, and she's finally successfully completed all her assignments and assessments and testing and all of that, and has become an NLP coach now, or a practitioner. So congratulations, Neha, to you for that. And we started our 2024 with an even more bigger um, journey that we have begun, let's put it that way, where we had our first very own teacher training in batch that happened in India. So we had one batch in Bombay and we had one batch in Delhi. And I wish a lot of them could have come to the support group today, but Neha, if you could quickly get all our upcoming level 1 trainers on screen so we can see them. Oh, we have Ramit and I think Dheeraj was
I
there.
think
But
all the upcoming level 1 trainers have to switch their videos on.
Hi.
so far, Ramit is gonna be. Okay, come on. Let's quickly see you. Let us all see who we're expecting to see more from 2024 doing batch trainings.
Hi, I'm Namrata. Even I was there in Mumbai, but I'm
Namrata,
traveling, so I'm keeping my video off. And I'm truly grateful that I could join BFTP1 in India. I'm truly grateful to you and Angela. Thank
No,
you so much.
it's an absolute
Thank
privilege,
you.
and it's nice to see how all of you have participated.
Thanks, Aarti. I'm Radhika. Thanks, Aarti, for the wonderful initiative. Thank you so much. Thanks to you and Neha and Angela, ma'am.
Okay, so we
Well,
have
it's been
off the screen. We've got Anaga, we've got I can't see the rest. Oh, there Anaga is. Hey Anaga.
Hi. I'm not well, so actually my video was off. I'm very grateful to you, Neha, and of course Angela.
We are very grateful that you guys chose this because
Back pain.
I have always maintained that we need more people doing batch and spreading the word of batch remedies. So it's amazing, and we feel this whole rush of energy post the two batches. It was beautiful. It was awesome. Uh, Angela's had an amazing time, and let me tell all of you people as well. Angela is very proud that India's taken the first step to kind of start this. Not many countries other than UK have been able to host BFTP. In fact, it was the very first time that Angela was doing this out of England. And she was so happy to come to India and do this because, of course, she considers it to be her second home. But it also talks about where we as a society are moving forward to. What is it that we are going towards? And I think it's a great space to be in. So thank you all of you for being there. And Fatafat, please complete all your lesson plans and everything that is supposed to be happening before you getting certified. Also, there are lovely batches. So that's our lovely winter batch from Delhi. Delhi gave us the opportunity to get all our jackets out. And that is our batch from Bombay. So again, a lot of people from Pune, from Hyderabad. Thank you so much, Neha. Okay, so that's how our 2024 was, and we still have people joining in. So just wanted to start off on that high note. So for the ones who are doing new things in batch, please continue to do so. And we plan to come up with a lot of new things as well. So stay tuned for that, and let's hope the journey with batch continues in the most positive direction ever. Okay, now before you hear more of me talking, does anybody have the encyclopedia to read from and would like to read from it?
I have 2-3 books.
You have awesome. What 2-3 books are these?
This one is the encyclopedia.
Okay.
Then second is Teach Yourself Bachelor Remedies by Stephen Ball. Then the Julian Bernard one, Form and Function, I have.
Okay. So, anybody else with the encyclopedia? Okay.
I have Arti.
Sorry, I can't see everybody. I can only see myself. Akshika, was that your voice?
Yeah.
See, I recognize your voice from wherever. Okay. You've got encyclopedia. All right. So, Akshika, I'm going to let you read from the encyclopedia, and Vidhi, you read from, sorry, what's the book called? Stefan?
Yeah, Stephen Ball's
Teach Yourself.
Teach Yourself. The only thing is it has cases.
Okay.
Let me see if
no passage. Okay, so try and see if you can find a passage on GORSE.
ठीक है.
Till
Yeah,
then,
I'll do that.
Arti, could I just interrupt for a moment, please? So could you just give us a general idea of how these sections go? Because I think I'm attending this one for the first time, so I have
Yes.
no idea how it goes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I just went on assuming you've done this before. All right. So here you go. Basically, how we work with these support groups is the idea actually started in lockdown because, of course, we were all locked up at home and there was nothing, no way of getting in touch with each other because we had physical support groups all over Bombay otherwise. And a lot of people were wanting books, but we were not finding the access to books, obviously because of the lockdown. So in the support groups, what we started is whoever has a batch approved book, a batch center approved book, we would read the passage from that for that particular remedy or whatever our topic was from different books by recommended authors. And then we have a discussion over it. If there is someone who's got a case to be presented on that particular remedy or topic, then we would ask that person to share their shares as well. So,
Okay.
and have a general discussion on that, because what happens in a support group, especially for us, is we discuss only one remedy or two remedies. So all the
Okay.
conversation is on that particular topic.
All right, got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, this is for everyone who's new to this. I realize that we're missing a lot of our regular support group members who are very enthusiastic about reading. But let's take it from here. So, Akshika, do you want to start reading? And for those of you who don't know what the encyclopedia looks like, we will share a screenshot on the group. Yeah, there you go. This is what the book looks like. It's the Encyclopedia of Bachelor Therapy by Mikhail Sheffer. Oh, we have Pranav joining it as well. Lovely. Thank you so much, Akshika, for that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's what the book looks like in case you want to pick it up on Amazon or you want to know what book this is. All right. So, Akshika, I'm going to go on mute and I would request everyone else to be on mute as well so we can hear Akshika properly.
Yeah, I'll read about GORSE, the hope flower, from giving up to going forth. Very great hopelessness. They have given up belief that more can be done for them. Under persuasion or to please others, they may try different treatments, at the same time assuring those around that there is little hope of relief. By Edward Batch. Course embodies the sole quality of hope. If you are in the negative God state, you have sunk within yourself, have let go of your aspirations, have become resigned, and have given up hope. One example might be a person who has been without work for 3 years, has had more than 50 interviews, and still has no job prospects. Another might be an individual who has courageously but futilely fought to rid herself of debt and has no ideas what to do next. Many people in the negative GORE state are suffering from chronic diseases. They have tried many treatments without success, and their doctors have made it clear to them that they will probably never be wholly well again. In their minds, they know they now have come to the end of the road and thus want to give up. For the sake of their families, they may try this or that additional treatment, but in their hearts, they have long since become convinced that it will be of no use. This psychological state is dangerous for two reasons. First, the patient's negative expectations will continue to reinforce the illness, thus anchoring it more firmly in the body, and the symptoms will only get worse. Second, passive resistance of by the personality blocks off positive impulses from higher self. People in the negative GORE state have allowed themselves to drop out of active life. They sometimes look like they have been living in a basement and haven't seen the sun for a long time. Their, their faces are yellowish or waxy pale, and their eyes have dark shadows. A sensitive woman once described her negative GORE state as one in which there seemed to be a thick piece of glass between her and her inner guidance. She was able to see it, but not hear it. The unconscious error again lies in the personality's refusal to acknowledge and accept the guidance of higher self. Instead of leaving the responsibility for everything to the higher self and faithfully going along with the process, the personality stagnates in hopelessness. You are unable to imagine alternative solutions and resign from further attempts. Because you can't imagine other possibilities, you never consider that things might have a meaning and that there could be something positive in all negative situations. Like children, many GORS patients accept that by some outside miracle, everything will turn out right after all. Instead of realizing that recovery can, in the end, come only from inside. People in the negative GORE state must learn to recognize their long unused developmental possibilities, pull themselves up, and seize their opportunities. Very often, the negative GORE state doesn't appear in the extreme form described above. Sometimes the whole process takes place on a psychological level without physical involvement. People who mark a significant turning point, with the person entering a new cycle of development. Many people who are afflicted with negative core state grew up in the circumstances of great psychological limitation. There may have been economic difficulties, a long lasting illness in childhood, or a parent or a sibling suffering from psychological or physical disabilities. GORSE can be given as a supportive measure to everyone involved in such difficult circumstances. Some people begin to understand or just have a sense that it's the experience of suffering that constitutes the driving force behind change and bears the additional benefit of strengthening the character. Those who become aware of this principle and unconsciously understand and embrace it experience a sudden shift so that their inner psychological orientation becomes positive. In the positive God state, you gather new strength and hope from deep inside, ready to actively take part again in your own destiny. This doesn't mean that you expect the impossible. You know that certain circumstances cannot be changed, but you'll firmly hope that everything will come together in a positive way. And so you move on despite all that besets you. You learn to bear your sufferings without complaint, having realized that often profound learning comes from trials and painful experiences. In the early stages of chronic diseases, this profound inner change is often the initial spark that will set the process of real healing into motion. Gore's key symptoms. Among these are hopelessness, resignation, and an oh, what's the use attitude. Behavior pattern in the blocked state. You are unable to imagine a change for the better. You don't dare hope for a change in circumstances. You're resigned, you're tired inside. You no longer have the energy to give it another try. You don't recognize any further possibilities. You have given up inside. You say you have come to terms with a prolonged chronic illness. You allow relatives to persuade you to try other treatments against your own inner conviction and are again resigned with the least setback. You have given up fighting for your destiny. Stagnation has taken hold deep inside. As a child, you had to overcome an extended or chronic illness. You grew up with a chronically sick person, someone, for example, with heart problem, alcoholism, or psychological problems. Even if only one or two of these patterns precisely match your present situation, you need course. Positive potential. You never give up hope and are convinced that all will come out right in the end. You know it's never too late for a new start. You recognize positive opportunities in difficult situations. You are able to inspire others with your own confidence. You are bearer of hope to others, empowering statements. I stand tall. I am filled with hope. I see new opportunities. That's from Encyclopedia.
Thank you so much, Akshika, and thank you so much for reading with all those emotions involved. Really make it made a difference. Thank you. Anything somebody or anybody would like to add, say, any insight, anything that just came to your mind when you were listening to the passage on Gorse? So you know what?
A lot of things, but
Yes, please,
if someone wants to first talk.
please. All
So every time I read the description of gorse, my confusion usually doesn't happen with sweet chestnut, but I always think of wild rose. Even all the books that I've read, every book has sentences similar in wild rose and similar in gorse. And coincidentally, when I had picked gorse for myself, I hadn't read these passages, okay, and I picked it apart from preparing for the exam. Um, so I took GORS and then it didn't work. And then I read somewhere that vervains are less likely to go into a GORS state, and I was like, there has to be something else. Then I read about Wild Rose and I was like, oh my God, this is so similar. Even in every book, there is some similarity. So for me, it is always this confusion. Till now, I haven't found a solution where I have put Wild Rose or Gorse. I've always put both in my bottle. Always.
Okay, so on that note, Vidhi, can I ask you a question, if you may
Hmm.
allow? So when you said I don't need to know the situation why you took GOSE,
Yeah.
but in that particular situation, did you ever feel like I don't even want to try anymore because it's just not going to work out? So even if someone comes and gives me an option, I don't want to explore it.
Yeah.
Or did you feel more like, okay, let's explore it. If it happens, happens. If it doesn't happen, doesn't happen because I, anyways, don't have hopes.
Uh, Alternating between both, but more the first one.
More the first one. So you didn't even want to try it because you thought this is it.
Yeah.
Wild Rose.
I would say that Gorse would be more like I've done it, I've tried it, I've put in all my efforts, it did not work for me. And now I've just resigned to the fact that it's not gonna work. And I know what you're talking about because the confusion happens because specifically because of this word resign.
Yes.
Wild Rose talks about resignation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say the separating factor is that in a gore state, one would not say, okay, fine, I'll just try it for the sake of it. You've already crossed that stage. You've tried it because you were willing to try and you want to change. It didn't work. And then maybe others persuaded you. So you said, okay, fine. I don't want to break the heart of my family or my friends or whatever. Let me try it. And then you're like, you know what? To hell with it. I don't even want to try. That's the extreme ghost state. But for a wild rose, it's more about I am not going to make any efforts. If it happens now, let it happen. If it doesn't happen, it's okay. I have resigned to my fate. That's where the resignation comes to. So, but I understand what you're saying in terms of the confusion, and there is no harm putting gorse and wild rose together any which ways, whatever works. But I think gorse, for me, in my experience, wherever I have used it, I have seen gorse work especially with, like the book mentions, in a lot of cases where someone has accepted a certain disease to be their fate and said, okay, fine, I'm not going to recover. So let this be. And it's not just about going and trying out options, but it is more about the self healing. That somewhere that mentality, somewhere that psychological aspect of, I know this is not going to work on me, just stops the healing, stops the body from responding, stops you from responding to anything. So whether it is a physical disease, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a situation that you're stuck in, it just stops your own, again, for the a choice of a better word, your higher wisdom or your higher guidance to guide you into where it can work. Right?
I mean, theoretically, I understand, but when you're going through that emotion, it is very, very difficult to identify. So theory-wise, uh, I would also say that okay, wild rose, you just understand. You don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel uh like going for everyday things that you would. Uh, it's fine, but then when it actually comes to identifying it, it becomes difficult. And then even if I read, let's say, Stephen Ball's book, in which he gives different cases, and he mentions about Wild Rose. Uh, the case ends with saying that the person still keeps trying. So there is constantly this confusion for me to identify. Anyway, the session is about sweet chestnut versus God, so I'm not going to
So it's
go
also
deep
about
into it.
clarifying GOSE. So irrespective of sweet chestnut, it's also about clarifying what is GOSE. But no, thank you for that insight. Something to think about even for me, because I do agree that there is a very thin line between the resignation there and the resignation here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Lovely. Anybody else before we can actually read Sweet Chestnut and then maybe compare it? Okay. So does somebody want to read Sweet Chestnut from the same book? Renuka, is your hand up to share or to read? You can do both.
So to share more, what I feel is that this is my thinking that in GORSE, so if the person is in GORSE state and somebody suggests him about a bachelor, the person will at least come to you saying that I am not hopeful, but because this person has said I have come. But in Wild Rose, they may not even come because it is not just going to happen. Whatever the other person says, they might not even come. Even if they come, they are brought by somebody. Jabardasti say, that the resignation is to that extent that it's not going to come at all.
So, yeah, I would agree so. Because GORSE, there is that, I will not say willingness to try. It's like, okay, fine. I'm going to try, but I know it's not going to help. But you're
Yeah.
right. In Wild Rose, I'm too, like, I'm not bothered to even try.
In GORS, they are like somewhere inside they're feeling, that that hope is not there, but okay, now that this person is saying, let me try. So, that they are not firm in their decisions that no, nothing is going to happen. I'm not going to try at all. But in Wild Rose, that may be there.
Awesome. So once after we read Sweet Chestnut, because we had spoken about Sweet Chestnut, if we have time, let's read about Wild Rose and see where we are going with that. But thank you so much for that added knowledge as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone willing to let us hear their sweet voice with Sweet Chestnut? Anybody? Anybody?
Should I go ahead, Arti?
Please, otherwise you'll have to hear my voice all the time. I don't quite enjoy it. So please, whoever does.
Yes, Sweet Chestnut, the deliverance path through darkness to light. For those moments which happen to some people when the anguish is so great as to seem to be unbearable, when the mind or body feels as if it has borne to the utmost limit of its endurance and that now it must give way. When it seems there is nothing but destruction and annihilation left to face. Edward Batch. Sweet chestnut is related to the principle of deliverance. People in the negative sweet chestnut state are convinced that there is no longer hope for help. Considering the intensity of the suffering it involves, sweet chestnut is probably one of the most intense negative soul states. It represents the apex of a crisis, but doesn't always present itself dramatically. It occurs more frequently on the inner planes, often without the affected person's awareness. In the negative sweet chestnut state, the personality is completely on its own, cornered, utterly helpless and unprotected, like a young bird that has fallen from the nest. Those in this state feel suspended in empty space, like a skydiver who has pulled the ripcord of his parachute a number of times, but to no avail. They struggle uncomplainingly with courage and hope, but ended up empty handed. For them, there is no more yesterday or tomorrow, merely an empty, desperate presence in the here and now, and a sense that it's only a matter of hours before the storm driven flood tide stops the dike. The negative sweet chestnut state is the moment of truth, the extreme confrontation of the personality with itself, and at the same time, its last erroneous attempt to fight and resist a crucial inner change. Night has to fall if day has to rise again. The intensity of the suffering seems to go beyond what can be endured. Indeed, endurance is pushed to its very limit so that all the old, fixed structures of the personality may be uprooted and abandoned, making room for new dimensions of consciousness. Suffering is increased to the point where the personality becomes ready to make a quantum leap in development and come up transformed, the phoenix rising from the ashes. Sweet chestnut largely initiates new stages of development, such as letting go of a long standing destructive relationship or giving up on a profession that does not suit you. The sweet chestnut state can also be the guardian of the threshold of genuine spiritual development. When you learn what it means to be truly lonely, left totally to your own devices, the way can open up to another level of consciousness. You realize that everything has been taken away so that you are able to step ahead with your hands free to grasp the new inspiration you meet. You must give yourself up completely in order to be totally reborn. Typical sweet chestnut characters tend to be caught up by extreme fateful situations, and their lives can be very dramatic when compared with the average person. They experience things differently and more intensely. Some who are particularly daring may go beyond traditional mental limits and explore the frontiers of consciousness. People in the negative sweet chestnut state, much like those in the negative agrimony state, attempt to hide their inner despair from others. But even at times of extreme depression, they would never think of wanting to put an end to it all, as negative cherry plum people may. As a result, it is not always easy in batchfly interviews to recognize a negative sweet chestnut state. Indicative of phrases such as, I'm at my wits' end, and I feel as though I'm at the bottom of a deep hole. God's help is near when need is the greatest, was the saying, aptly describing the effect of sweet chestnut energy. Sweet chestnut helps you get through difficult periods of transformation without losing yourself or breaking apart in the process. The positive sweet chestnut state is the ability to trust in a higher power, however great the adversity you are experiencing. It's the moment when you cry for help is heard and when miracles happen. Sweet chestnut key symptoms. You're in a state of deepest despair. You've come to your limits, and it's more than you can bear. Behavior pattern in the blocked state. You found yourself in an extremely difficult position that you can't bear any longer. You believe there's no way out. You don't have any idea of what to do anymore. You know only that you can't make it any further on your own. You need to throw in the towel but can't admit it to yourself. You no longer see the light at the end of the tunnel. You feel you've reached the utmost limit and your burden is about to destroy you. You cannot believe that anyone should ever have to suffer this much. You feel God has abandoned you. You feel utterly lost inside, as if in total isolation in a helpless void. You are experiencing extreme mental anguish, the dark night of the soul. Even if only one or two of these patterns precisely match your present situation, you need sweet chestnut. Positive potential. You know how to use crisis as opportunities for transformation. You can handle extreme situations without allowing harm to your soul. You know the right moment to take action and the moment to let go. You know when to say, Thy will be done. Empowering statements. I look up. I accept. I let go.
Thank you so much, Deepika. Thanks a ton. Which book is this? This is the Encyclopedia of Bachelor Remedies by Michael Scheffer. We will send the image of that on the group so that you know. Well, while I was listening to you at one point, I just stopped following my book and I was only listening. And I thought that this could actually be more confusing with a GORSE. Yeah. Because I always, for me, I feel GORSE state is where you're not even trying to look for the light at the end of the tunnel. You're not expecting it to be there. You're not even thinking about it. Whereas in Sweet Chestnut, they've said that you no longer see the light at the end of the tunnel, but there is a hope, there is that dwindling hope inside, you know. And I feel that a state of sweet chestnut is where, if you've ever seen that post or an image, or for years, this kind of a anecdote or image went around where the person is hanging at the end of a rope on a cliff, and in the dark he does not realize that land is very close, and he is hanging on to it for dear life, hoping for someone to pull him up to the other end of the cliff, which might be a little more longer than the land. But all he has to do is leave that rope in faith that he might land safely and he'll be safe. But he dies hanging on that rope because that faith is not there. That, something higher, there could be a miracle that's possible. Something can save me in the nick of time. But sweet chestnut is what you need at that point when you're hanging towards the end of the rope. That, rather than dying with the fear and shock and panic of the rope might get snapped and I might fall and die, all you need to do is just have that faith and leave. Take that leap of faith. So yes, in GORSE, people have tried a lot of treatments to get better. And again, GORSE is something that my brain would go towards when I know that somebody is fighting with a physical issue. A disease, a disability, a physical situation. But sweet chestnut for me is more of a heartache, an anguish that one is feeling stuck, suffocated, bottled up in, especially relationships or situations where I'm living with it every day. I'm enduring it and I'm going through that pain on a daily basis. And I just feel, nothing can really pull me out of this. But I do have that wish that something should. I do want to see the other end of the picture. I do want to see the other end of the bridge. But I'm just hoping somebody gets me out of here. So if someone gives me that hand, I'm ready to hold it and come out. But otherwise, I've lost that faith to try on my own. That is the space of sweet chestnut. So sweet chestnut is a place that comes, or rather a remedy that comes to someone who's in a lot of pain and anguish. Yeah, whereas GORSE talks more about hope and rebuilding that hope. Any insights, any shares, anyone who looks at it differently or has something to share about sweet chestnut?
Aarti?
Yes. Yes, Nisha. Hello.
Hi. Sorry, I'm unable to start my video. But I would like to just share my thought process and run it by you just for clarity. So when I look at sweet chestnut and gorse, what I think of, I'm quite visual in my ways of thinking. So what I get is that, like, suppose it's like, someone is thinking about committing suicide, vis-a-vis decided to commit suicide, okay, or is like, suicidal in their thought process. But like sweet chestnut, is that the place where they are they've given up, and they talk to somebody about it and say, I'm getting suicidal thoughts finally, or someone gets to know that they're getting suicidal thoughts, vis-a-vis gorse, where they have completely like decided that they're going to commit suicide because they don't see any hope at all. Is that gorse more towards it, is that the thin line? And also, like, a client may not come and tell us that they are in a gorse state. It's for someone to discover.
True, absolutely.
Because I don't think a client would be looking for some support when they have already resigned or given up. Vis-a-vis, if they do come to you, they are already somewhere in a sweet chestnut.
Again, even that holds true. If they're coming to you, they might come and say that, you're either my last hope, or then I've tried everything, nothing's worked. I'm just gonna give this a shot because someone told me.
Correct.
Whereas a GORSE is, yeah, I'm coming because my husband's really pulled me and got me here, but I'm not really expecting anything out of this. Yeah. And also what you said about one is that I'm in so much pain that now if something doesn't come my way, this is it. I'm going to think of ending my life. Versus being in a GORSE state where I know that it's best that I end my life now. There's going to be no use. So yes, which is why the confusion between GORSE and sweet chestnut. But yes, one, if you have to put it, on a very broad kind of a view, GORSE is where you've lost hope and it's about renewal of hope. And I remember Angela saying this every time, that sometimes when you can't make out a remedy, ask yourself, where is it that the person is trying to go? Is the person looking for renewed hope, or is the person looking at healing that deep anguish, that deep pain? Yes, someone who's looking for hope also might be in a lot of pain. But then which is your bigger task at hand? Yeah, if I identify somebody in a GORSE state, GORSE might be good enough. They may not need sweet chestnut because they've reached that GORSE level. If they are at a sweet chestnut stage, a sweet chestnut also can pull them back. It can help them. They need not get GORSE. Yeah. Renuka, I see your hand up as well.
So I feel that in sweet chestnut, we can actually feel the anguish and desperation when the person talks to us, like the point of saturation that they have reached and they're desperately looking out for something. And they know that they don't feel that there may be, as they say that they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but still they're so desperate.
They're
So that
desperate.
anguish can be felt when the person is speaking to us. And I think that itself is an indicator of sweet chestnut, maybe.
Definitely, sweet chestnut comes to someone with a lot of pain. There is a heartache. There is a lot of anguish, a lot of helplessness, desperation, pain that one is going through and is trying to look for something to come out of it. Whereas GORSE, they might not even refer to the pain as much. They're like, okay, fine, this is it. My suffering is done and I want to end it now. I just want the suffering to end.
Arti, I have a question here. Do you mean to say that the GOSE state, has given up hope, but still waiting for some outside help?
No, in fact, that is what we're referring to in terms of sweet chestnut. So GORSE is not really bothered about help.
Okay.
A GORSE is like, I am refraining from using the word resign because that resignation is so associated with wild rose. But if you understand the meaning of that line, GORSE is a state in which I've actually resigned to my fate, and I feel this is what is meant to happen to life now. This is how I'm going to die. This is how I'm going to suffer. This is how I'm going to perish. So there is no point of anything. I will only go for help if people are forcing me and saying, no, you have to do this. That's a state of GORSE.
I think GORSE is, sorry,
No,
go on, please.
No, please, go on.
Okay. So I feel GORSE is more about when a person has completely lost hope. So I guess rather than saying, because resignation is obviously a confusing word to use when comparing to remedies. So I would use the word hope here. So GORSE is more about completely losing that hope and still going when you say, like, if there's a lot of push happening from your family or friends or whatever. Whereas sweet chestnut is more about, you've still got that slither of hope inside of you. And no doubt you're in utmost despair, and there's so much that you've been through that you somebody in the GORSE state would have lost hope at that time. But for a sweet chestnut, they still have that slither of hope in them, in to see the light of day
Yes.
still. And they would, because of that, they would still want to go on.
Absolutely.
GORSE would not want to go on only.
I totally agree to that, and I think that itself is what sets them apart. In Sweet Chestnut, they've had strength to try, but now that strength is dwindling. Though they want to try, but now that strength is going away and that pain is taking over, and you need something to kind of rebuild that rope for you to hang on and either let go so that you land safely, or then you find a way of coming up. But you need rebuilding of that strength which is going. Yeah. Okay, Nisha, you can unmute yourself, and after that, Sanjay sir, you can do that as well.
Yeah, so actually, I just had to, since there is a confusion between resignation from Wild Rose and GORSE, what I have noticed is that GORSE resignation is resignation as in giving up hope, giving up hope towards something in the future. Whereas, Wild Rose, the resignation is a very different resignation as to now this is life and I'm going to do what comes. It's like it's not giving up hope on life per se. It's just giving up, it's apathy. It's more of apathy that,
Yes.
yeah, and that there's a difference between that resignation and this resignation towards when someone says, now what to do, this is my life, now this is what is my destiny, and and just goes on doing things what come their way. Whereas a GORSE resignation is where they have given up hope on life itself, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A wild rose would rarely talk about, or a wild rose would not think about ending their life. They will carry on with life the way it is without making too much about it. Like, not make any changes, not do anything to change the situation. They'd be like, okay, fine, abhi hai to hai, this is okay. Whereas a GORSE would actually say, what's the point of living like that? I know nothing's going to work out. So maybe one fine day I'll just get up and die. That's about it.
Yeah, and like what you said, like many times about physical ailment or about something which marks the end, it's like that's it. Nothing more to like maybe it's more than physical also sometimes, maybe suicide or whatever. I have seen I have observed cases where children have unfortunately seen one or two students committing suicide due to various reasons and could sense the GORSE state in them. And what I observed was they did not feel close enough to express it. However, the signs were there, but went unnoticed.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for this discussion, Aarti. It's very valuable. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nisha. Sanjay sir, you had something to share.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, and a very warm good afternoon to all the listeners, and thank you, Aarti and Neha, for giving me this opportunity. Those of you who don't know me, I am at the level 1 of the batch, and Akshika, I think so. She's my batch mate, and I'm going to present you two. Oh, that's a nice smile I can see in Akshika's face. Thank you. So, two cases in short. One is of my father-in-law, 76 years old. He is 18 years government pensioner as a retired veterinary doctor at Nagpur. So, this when the later part of December month comes, we are all in for a mental shock because my mother-in-law passed on 29th of December. So, something or the other bad is going to happen. So that mental anguish is there. And from father-in-law, his second first heart attack he had 14 years back, and now post-COVID he has got the second heart attack, in which he was admitted in the ICU, and unwillingly my wife, who is 52 years now, I was delaying her sending to Nagpur, because it is the coldest part of the year in this year, where the temperature has gone down by 15 degrees. And already my father-in-law was admitted. So as everybody told about GORSE, GORSE was given to my brother through my brother-in-law, because he is a chemist. He also unwillingly accepted, but that point was at the total breakdown point, as everybody has told, that in sweet chestnut, the glimmer of hope is there to live. But my father-in-law had lost all hope in life in ICU. He, after all the tantrums of throwing whatever was given to him for eating as soups and all, everything. So he was on the verge of that. His dialysis was to be done, but thankfully it was averted by use of GORSE. The second one case is when my two sons brought my wife back from Nagpur, and and Nagpur, she was also admitted in the same ICU room as my father-in-law, and she suffered a brain stroke or subarachnoid hemorrhage, in which it's a shooting clap thunder like pain was there. But and before that, she has a history running of diabetes from my mother-in-law's side, and anguish, irritational things, So uh, ये नहीं ठीक है. Even if the bed sheet is not proper, she would make me do it. So now I became the housemaid after she came, thankfully, and I'm happily doing all the household chores. So unknowingly, both of my from my wife's side and from my father-in-law's side, nobody was supporters to my journey in batch. The only one supporter I got was Neha Pradhanji. Okay, so that was after a lot of talk and counseling from her. Then coming back to my wife saying, she still doesn't approve of any of that mumbo jumbo. She calls that तुम्हारा batch remedy ना तुम्हारे ऊपर ही डालो. So unknowingly, I put that batch mix of GORSE, sweet chestnut, walnut, olive, and gentian. This mix I made, and I put it in the big copper pot handa. So in which unknowingly all the full 30 ml of that I put. So that in the full copper handa. So unknowingly the full family takes it. And happiness to me is that now my wife has become 50% less irritated. She has stabilized. But unfortunately, the steroids which she is taking, prescribed by the doctors, sometimes adds to the mood swings in her. A lot of steroids which has been post-operative care has been prescribed for her. So that since 1 month has taken the mood swings. But walnut and GORSE has done wonderful that both of my wife and my father-in-law, they had given up hope. When she came back from here, and then even still she was saying, what is the use of me living here with you? You are a useless, hopeless husband, who's retired from a government job. You're useless. So I don't like you see other husbands, they are earning it, you are not earning anything. So they and uh, uh, being self, not only she had given herself that no, it's no use now. My father has been put in pacemaker, and now I'm not going to lose out. I'm not going to live after a heavy time period of brain stroke, because it's the people around you who add to the hype. The relatives, they say, oh yeah, you've got brain strokes, you got brain stroke. So that constantly hammering puts more the person out of the mind and out of control. So but the beautiful part of here was that the mix of, as Arti had told, uh, that sweet chestnut and gorse. I mixed it together because I consider them both as wonderful sisters, gorse and sweet chestnut, helping each other. In When gorse is when the person has totally got out of life and there is no hopes whatsoever to live, or as some have told, that resigned to the fate of God. So this uh, was came well in time. This workshop came well in time, and I'm thankful both to Aarti, Neha, and to all of you. So she's on. My wife is on the field of recovery, thanks to blessings by all of you also, and walnut also, of course, to help gorse, sweet chestnut, walnut, and olive also. When the mind is tired down, I put olive specially to bring in a good ray of hope. So this was my part in which I've been doing. And another thing is that Aarti and Neha on the South Mumbai, and I am in the north side of Mumbai. And I have started, by the blessings of Aarti and Neha, I have started a Batch Flower Remedy WhatsApp group for those who don't know. And those, I would like to offer my help in that to whoever are from Mumbaikars, not only Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, Thane, and this north side of areas. So that's a regular part. I think Aarti knows about our group, and she has been a very regular contributor to us also. Uh, uh, I think this is the last of my presentation. Thank you, Aarti, Neha, for giving me a good time, and I'm wishing you a very prosperous events in 2024.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Well,
Maybe
first of all, thank you for being so honest and vulnerable to us. It takes a lot to come and share personal stories. So I really appreciate that. And hoping that everybody keeps this confidential and keeps this between us. Of course, I don't know what was coming next, but let's respect everybody's privacy and make sure that the cases shared over here do not go out. So it's great that he could share a story or he could share a case where he directly used these remedies for cases. And yes, I relate to a lot of things that he was talking where, especially when it comes to somebody's body giving up, because somewhere here and here you've given up the hope of recovery, or you've given up the uh the desire to live. And that is where these remedies really kick in, and not just in humans, but I think whenever I discuss gorse in my class, I always talk about it being a great remedy even for animals who either have met with accidents or who lie lifeless post a certain disease where nothing seems to be working. And suddenly, with a few doses of GORSE or regular use of GORSE as a remedy, the body starts responding to medical treatments and other help that is given as well. So that is one thing that I've personally seen even with stray dogs or with stray animals. And I believe that that is one amazing property of GORSE as a remedy to kind of wake the body up from dead. And I remember one such mainstream MBBS doctor who said that he uses GORSE very regularly in cases where the patient is not responding to treatments. You know, whether it is cancer, whether it is any kind of other treatment as well, or it is accident cases where the body has gone into such a severe shock that it is just not responding to get better. And that's also where GORSE has seemed to give a lot of improvement. Yeah. So thank you so much
I
as well. Yes, Vidi.
so because we're talking about sweet chestnut and gorse, um, I so okay, so both of them, when we are describing the differences, even in the book as well as when you had sent some videos when we were doing level 2, and there was this particular video where Stephen Ball is explaining the difference. And he says that okay, they are anyway put in two different groups. Gorse is when it's more pessimism, the situation is actually not hopeless, but from your lenses it looks hopeless, versus sweet chestnut where situation is actually hopeless. No matter how with rosy eyes you see, the situation is hopeless. So it's about what the surrounding actually is, versus in gorse where you view the surroundings in a very hopeless way. So that is the difference, I get it. But then when I read from this book, when Akshita was also reading, uh, I'm just reading out one line from the same book, encyclopedia. Now, this is talking about GORSE, okay? It says that GORSE state, you have sunk within yourself, have let go of your aspirations, have become resigned, and have given up hope. One example might be a person who has been without work for 3 years, has had more than 50 interviews and still has no job prospects. Now, what is this situation hopeless, or is it he is viewing it pessimistically because he has given 50 interviews? So, effort, he's done a lot of effort, but then this description is in GORSE.
Okay, so who defines that he's done everything that he could?
Like giving your 100% in each interview?
Yes. So I'm saying, okay, he's given 50 interviews, 50 interviews have not gone through. Maybe the 51st or the 52nd might just get him through. But
Correct.
then he's saying that it's no point now because I've done 50 interviews and they all have failed. So what's the guarantee the 51st I'm going to get through? Which is
Right.
why I just say it's useless. Let me just not go. I'm not going to get it. That is
Right. Yeah, so the situation here is not hopeless because if you want to get employment, you just need one job. You don't need 50 jobs.
absolute.
It's just one click and it's done. So
Absolute.
then it's gorse and not sweet chestnut because the situation is not hopeless.
True.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think again, I have touched this book and read the description on sweet chestnut and gorse after a really, really long time. When you actually have live in-person cases, the description you get and the states of emotions that the people will be in will be so away from the bookish description. And that's the time where it will be about your decision to make that one call and say, okay, this is gore, so this is sweet chestnut, or this is wild rose. And I think that is what's going to count. So ultimately, it has to boil down to the kind of emotions that your client is going through and what is it that you need to give them to regain what they've lost. Whether you want to give them gorse because they've lost the faith in life and you want to rebuild that faith, or it is someone who's going through that pain because they've endured a lot, and you want to give them sweet chestnut because it's going to do two jobs. It's going to work on that pain as well as give them that strength to carry on doing what they're doing so that they don't give up. Or then you're giving them wild rose because you want to push that energy in them so that they take some initiative to make some changes in life rather than just sitting on the couch and watching life pass by saying, okay, fine, this is what it is. You know, so when you're, like they say, when you're on the field and you have your ammunition in your hand, it is then that it will matter what you use and where. What's your target like?
Correct.
Awesome. Any last few shares?
Arti, one observation, I may be wrong, just from the small number of cases which I have. So the main difference between GORSE and sweet chestnut, which I observed, is GORSE people mostly come with a single problem. Like joblessness means only joblessness. They don't have any issues with family, friends, or financial things. Other issues won't be there. Whereas in sweet chestnut, they have multi-dimensional issues. Family is also a problem. Financially, they have a problem, and health-wise also they have problem. This is just an observation, maybe wrong, but from the small number of cases I have observed this. I may be wrong also. Just a comment.
No, I don't think you're wrong there. But again, I would say yes, situational. I have also experienced that where I have felt the need of giving GORSE. It's looking at one particular aspect of life.
Yes.
Because again, we don't talk so much about endurance in GORSE. We talk about endurance in sweet chestnut, where a lot of things are going wrong in life, and I'm like, okay, fine, this is it. I can't take it anymore. So yes, a well-made observation.
And in sweet chestnut, they are still continuing. They
Yeah.
are not, they have not stopped yet. They are saying ki it's like uppermost limit of my endurance.
Absolutely.
They feel that matlab, it's enough, but they're doing.
True, true, absolutely. I think Namrata has shared something. She says sweet chestnut flower essence benefits, gives one tranquility when going through extreme mental distress. Sweet chestnut, the person feels knocked out by the mental anguish and despair which certain situations present. Absolute dejection, person feels he has reached the limits of what he can stand, as opposed to GORSE, where the benefits known for renewing hope when feeling helpless. They're desperate without hope. Or what's the use? Yeah, true. Thank you so much for that, Namrata. Lovely. I hope that's given us some kind of shed some light on GORSE and sweet chestnut. I didn't want to prolong this into like a 2-hour affair. Like I said, we had lost in touch with our skills of creating the support group. So I needed something to kind of shake all of us up, including me and Neha. We're running helter skelter, but like I mentioned in my BFTP Bombay batch also, that one thing that I really miss is connecting with everybody again, without any aim, without any reason, without any agenda. So this is one way that let's just keep connecting. If you have specific topics in mind, guys, I've said this even before, just run it by us. Let us know that this is what you want to discuss, and I'll be more than happy to take that. We realized taking just one remedy became a little too boring for people. Some people were opting out. Some people thought that they didn't need it. So comparison was another thing that we came up with. But we also have plans of coming and discussing type remedies very specifically. So if you have any ideas, if you have something in mind, please share with us. We'd most happily take it from here. And Neha, let's just make a promise. I know I'm stepping on the axe, but let's make a promise of doing this once in at least a month or 2 months time, so that we do this regularly without a fail. Yeah.
I just got an idea.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about comparisons and type remedies. If we mix them both and announce the next one about acrimony and centauri, the comparison as well as the type,
Yeah.
because there are confusions. So maybe we can
Let's keep comparison between agrimony and centauri as a type remedy for our next session. If you all have topics on mind, please throw them out. And if you think there is a topic that you want to take over and come, I am more than happy. Okay. All you teachers, if you want to use this as a way of delivering your talk, may not be counted, but a way of practice, then please use the platform and come and share your thoughts. So we have an agenda for the next session. Okay. And I think Dipali joined in later. So Dipali, since we announced all our prospective teachers, let's welcome Dipali also. Let's say she is also one of the faces we might see a little more in 2024, 2025. So here's more to the teacher gang coming up with batch. And I'm hoping to see many more of you willing and wanting to take that step ahead or that action ahead where you want to spread more on batch in future.
I know Vidhi wants to.
Vidhi must.
I'm taking wild oat, just to decide.
Vidhi must. No, that
I'll be a
Even
wild
I
one.
want.
you also should. And I'm going to send you the next NLP dates very soon because I have them with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to share
That
that. All right, guys, please let us know if you want to do something differently about the support groups, what worked, what did not work, what we could have done differently, and what is it that we did that worked also so that we can continue that. Okay. For this to work better, for this to be more of a success in terms of the learning, I need inputs from you guys. I'm more than happy to connect and just start off a discussion. But for it to
like
work for you, you need to tell
this
me and give me more.
this one is a very good initiative because when we compared a lot of our doubts, just like everybody have, because case to case when we see, so there are different kind of conversation, these words are not written as you were telling, so this is difficult for us to decide. But what we can do, like we can just in the WhatsApp group, like in 2 days before, 1 day before, we can share our cases. Even like we can write down and we can share, so not without wasting time, we can just quickly just refer those while just discussing the comparison, so that would give everybody a very hands-on experience on the particular case.
I think that's a very good advice, Akshika. So here's what we're going to do for the next one. And Neha, if you remember, that is how we started it. When we started the support group, we had requested people to give us cases if they had on that particular remedy, and we were sharing it on the group. So let's do that in the next support group also. We'll pre-announce the subject or the topic and take in cases or shares for that. So we know what to bring up when we're actually.
So
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you so much, Akshika. And once again, thank you, everybody. Wishing everyone a very, very happy new year. Some people I'm meeting for the first time in 2024. Some people I have recently met at a very personal level. So happy to see those faces again. Radhika, we've shared our own little adventure in Delhi. So I'm sure that's going to be special for 2024. And Radhika, we've shared our special adventure in Bombay with level 3. So that's going to be special for me in 2024 as well. So wishing everyone a great time and keep practicing batch, keep talking batch, keep spreading it, and keep coming back to us with more ideas. And we will
thank
share
you
this
so
recording.
much.
Thank you so much, Aarti.
Thanks to all, it's lovely to see everybody.
Aarti, I had a query.
Yes.
I have a cousin bhabhi who's suffering from cancer for since a couple of years now, and it's she had got fine and then it's come back with a very bad bang, and their family is really going through this. So I put gores for her, and for bhaiya I put sweet chestnut because I thought, that he would be dealing, and he's the kind who wouldn't give hope, and he's doing everything to the best of his abilities. But I know somewhere deep inside it must be very, painful for him, to see his wife in this state, and wherein there is always this fear that they might lose her. And it is like, so I heard him speak to my mother-in-law, like, it's just a wait and watch situation and that they don't know. So when, we went through this book, this time it said, for GORS, they've mentioned you grew up with a chronically sick person. So this might be applicable for him also, that for like several years now, he's had to do this. So it's
I would
not like,
say, I would
but
say you said sweet chestnut for your bhabhi and you gave gorse. No, the other way around. You said sweet chestnut to him and gorse to her. I'd rather give gorse to him
yeah, now I realize that. Yeah.
with the
Hmm.
fear remedy, because the fear of watching my loved one, or rather the hopelessness that I'm feeling because I'm watching my loved one suffer. And again, see, when it comes to cancer, I always tell people that cancer, autoimmune diseases, the minute you hear the diagnosis, your mind tells you this is it. There, you've lost hope there, no matter how much you say, no matter how much you say you're a positive person or whatever. The very first thought with these ailments is that death is the ultimate.
Okay.
And over there, you have to give gorse because deep down, you've already made a decision in your mind that now it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
You know?
And another thing that I wanted to inquire, a friend just lost her mother yesterday. So she also was going through a very bad patch of hospitalization and bed sores and everything. So when I see these types, like even Bhaiya, I think should I or should I not give oak? I feel scared to give oak because oak, helps you to sort of, it says it's supposed to make you rest. But I feel, इस time पे तो यार rest कैसे करे? The body shouldn't give up there. So what is this? ये एक थोड़ा सा मैं हमेशा डरती हूँ ओक डालने में.
No, so why are you giving oak? You're thinking about oak because are they way too strong and not listening to themselves?
Yeah,
Or
because they're just going out doing for everybody despite, being ill themselves or whatever. But they know that,
I see why they need oak, right? Because they need to take a break in order to function better.
right,
So when the body is taking a rest, doesn't mean the body stops fighting, doesn't mean that they're not going to fight. But one is to push beyond your limits or to realize, okay, now I need to take a break so that I can again start pushing. So I think in such cases, oak is very, very important because you need to refuel your system.
true,
Ultimately, there's going to be a burnout.
right, right.
Don't want a burnout in a person who's actually responsible for running around for the one who's ailing.
So it's okay and it will not like make them like, go to sleep. Yeah, just.
All, not at all. Even olive, for that matter, I have heard so many people come back and say olive makes me sleep or olive will not make me sleep. The remedies gives you, and that's the magic about the remedies. The remedies give you exactly what you require. So even when somebody is taking olive, let's say for example me, if I haven't slept for a long time and I'm feeling tired and I take olive, olive doesn't pump up my energy, it makes me sleep. But if I have slept and in spite of that I'm feeling tired, then olive is not going to put me to sleep. Olive is going to give me that energy that I'm lacking.
Okay.
Right? So if they require that rest or they require the body to just relax a little bit before that trampoline jump again, that is exactly what oak will do to them.
Okay.
It will help them stay away from that burnout. Otherwise, they're going to reach a point of burnout very soon.
Sure. Thank you.
Most welcome. Lovely, lovely. It was a great session, and I guess we're heading towards everybody's lunchtime. So please go have a great meal. I'm sure it's the weekends, you've got all your family waiting. Have a good time and see you soon. It's a promise that we will, whether or not anything else happens, support groups will happen. Okay. So everybody's already started eating. So we shall.
I'm
we
eating
shall-
since the beginning of the session.
I
Like,
don't see that.
And she's been having something, drinking something, making me hungry.
All right, guys. So off the camera, go munch onto something. Have a great lunch. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Aarti.